Alright, you guys, so let's go ahead and get started on example 3 here. And in example 3, we are focusing on expressions that contain two variables. So if you guys take a look at the expressions here, we have 5x squared and we also have a 20y squared. So then each of the terms has a variable and this works for both of them. So I'm going to go ahead and start working with the top one first with our numerator. And if you guys take a look at this here, our coefficients are 5, 20, and 20. Now there is one number in common between all these three, which is 5. So I'm going to go ahead and factor them first. So we have the 5. We have 5. And then we're going to go ahead and simplify that. So we have x squared plus a 4xy plus 4y squared. Now, after we do that, I do want to go ahead and focus on factoring that expression that is inside of the parentheses. Now, when we are factoring this, we're actually going to be focusing on the last term, which is a 4y squared, and the 4y in this case, and we're ignoring the x for now. So then in this case, if we do that, we're basically looking for two factors that multiply to a 4y, but also add up to a 4y. Multiply to a 4y squared and add up to a 4y. So in this case, I could think of the terms in this case to be 2y times a 2y. If you guys multiply those two, we get 4y squared. And if you guys add them, we also get 4y. So then in this case, our factors would be 2y squared on each. Now we do have an x, and the x will be included in front of our parentheses, which is going to be the leading term of the binomials here. So let me just rewrite this here. And we have 5 times x plus 2y times x plus 2y. So now let's go ahead and move on to the bottom here. Now, if we take a look at the denominator, this one we already have a leading coefficient of 1, so we don't have to do much work there. But I do want to go ahead and focus on this term here. So I'm basically going to be looking for two factors that will multiply to a negative 6y squared. But I'm also looking for two factors that are going to add up to a negative y. So then in this case, two factors of 6 would be 3 and 2. So I could do 3y and 2y. And based on my middle term in this case, since that's negative, it means that the highest of my factors should be negative. So if I add negative 3y and a 2y, I should be getting a negative y as an answer. So then I'll go ahead and rewrite this over here. And we have, this should be basically x minus a 3y times x plus a 2y. And I'll just write it at the end where we have both of them factored already. So then from here, you guys can tell that we do have a common factor in this case, which would be our x plus 2y, which is x plus 2y. And if we want to go ahead and find with the restrictions here, we're basically making each of the expressions in the denominator equal to 0. So then we're canceling this one, but then we have 5x plus 2y, and we can distribute this, but I'm just going to leave it like that. X minus a 3y, and where you have to include our restrictions. So then we have, this is restriction, and we're basically making each of the expressions in the denominator equal to 0. And you can solve for x, you can solve for y. In this case, I'll be solving for x on both of them. So then this would mean that x cannot equal a 3y, and also x cannot equal a negative 2y. Or it could be the other way around. So then in this case, my restrictions would be when x cannot equal a 3y or a negative 2y. And this here would be our final answer.